Where am I right now? Huh. Hi and welcome to The Fate of Humanity. I'm your host Jack, and I hope all of you are social distancing, staying home, staying safe. I'm outside in the middle of a field, trying to do my best to stay away from people and stay healthy and safe. The first section on today's show is Give Me the Good Stuff. The part where I tell you one piece of really good, happy, uplifting news, or something that's just interesting. So on October 27th of 2019, a Canadian sailor from Victoria, British Columbia, started sailing around the globe with his goal to be able to navigate without any GPS, using only sextants, compasses, maps, the things they used before technology was invented. He's still out there, even in the midst of this quarantine, and he's probably demonstrating one of the best social distancing ever. Out by himself in the middle of the ocean, thousands of miles away from anyone and everyone. I think that's pretty impressive. And he's having some issues, with the food spoiling, but recently he came into port, got some fresh food, fresh toilet paper, fresh everything, and he was able to do so while in perfect safety, away from everything, and continue along on his journey. He's currently sailing off the coast of Australia, which I think is pretty crazy for a one-man sailing crew to go from Victoria, British Columbia, all the way to Australia in just a matter of a few months. It's kind of an inspirational story and one I think is fun. Next up on the show, we have the Today I Found Out. So today I found out how to do Morse Code. And it's actually a lot simpler than you may think. That language made up of dots and dashes represent the whole alphabet. Any word you could ever want to spell. It's actually pretty simple. And this isn't a paid sponsorship or anything. Google has done a Chrome kind of experiment, they call it, where you can learn how to do Morse code really simply. They make it kind of like a game. I kind of found addicted to it, and last night, in just a matter of hours, I was able to learn the whole alphabet. It's actually really cool how, in many ways, they make it like associate the dots and dashes with pictures. So, for example, for the letter A, they use an arrow, and an arrow is a dash and a dot. So they have the shaft of the arrow and the head for the dot. And so I found that was a pretty cool thing to do during the quarantine, staying inside and learning a completely new skill. Morse code is still in use today on the ocean by the Navy and by the military, and it can be used to communicate with anyone from anywhere in the world. It's not as out of date as you may think, but it's actually a really cool, fun little game and something to expand the old noggin. Next on the show we have Did That Really Happen? The part where I talk about historical facts or events that really did happen. The first one I have to talk to you about is Julie Diabini. She was a opera singer born to the secretary of King Louis XIV. Now, her story goes a little something like this. She grew up with her father being the secretary, who was an amazing fencer. Fencing was big in France during the time, and her dad taught her how to fence, and she became really good at it. So good at it that when she was doing fencing demonstrations, many of the men did not believe that she was a woman. And one man in the crowd called this out to her. And in order to prove everyone that she was in fact a woman, she flashed the whole crowd and stunned everyone that she was indeed a woman, and she could beat a man at swordplay. Not only that, she later became an opera singer, one of the best in France at the time. While she was traveling for her opera, one day on her path, she stumbled into another man who challenged her to a fencing duel. Now, while she was traveling from event to event for opera, she was wearing men's clothes. Dare say why the man did challenge her to a duel. She ended up beating him with the sword and brutally wounding him. And then she nursed him back to life, and they ended up being best friends. So not only was Julie an amazing fencer, she was perhaps one of the world's first feminists, and also was able to be really good at opera. The next little fact on did that really happen comes from the term robot. Now, this term is from a Czech word robota, which literally means forced labor. And it came from when one of the first humanoid robots was being used in the Czech Republic, doing forced labor, as machines pretty much always have. So the next time you're harassing your Google Home, maybe be a little bit nicer to it. Say please and thank you wouldn't kill you. So the final part for the show today is the future is now. The part where I talk about science news and how science fiction is becoming a reality. Now, a lot of people think of NASA and SpaceX when they think of space exploration and rockets. But recently, Boeing has started to get in the market with their Starliner. And on April 6th, they just announced that they're going to be doing a second uncrewed mission, kind of a test flight, on their CST 100 Starliner. I think this is exciting because it shows that not only do we have NASA and SpaceX kind of jiving to have their name in space, but we also have Boeing and many other companies. I think even Lockheed Martin is getting into it. There's Blue Origin. There's a ton of new companies getting into the space industry, which is a great thing because it means that once they start competing with each other, getting to space will be more accessible for everyone. That means you and I will soon, maybe one day, get to go to space, and it'll expand our civilization from Earth to beyond. Alright, well, this has been The Fate of Humanity. I'm your host, Jack. I hope all of you are staying safe, staying inside, and maybe even getting outside every once in a while, as long as you stay 6 feet away from everyone and enjoy the sun, enjoy being outside. Doesn't mean you have to be inside all the time. Thank you.